Alright, so how's it going? Hope you're all doing well, and this is the meta gaming PC when it comes to 1440p and 4K gaming PC builds. So hey, please do me a favor, if you like the video, press that like button. If you want to see more videos of that kind, subscribe, and yeah, let's make it short and sweet, and let's just get straight into the benchmark. So first up, we got Red Dead Redemption 2. Now we gotta keep in mind these are 1440p benchmarks with the same GPU but not the same CPU, so that kind of gives you an idea of what this PC is capable of, and we are looking at around 144 FPS. Cyberpunk at 4K ultra settings, you'll find yourself hovering between 45 to 50 frames per second. Of course, if you decided to add ray tracing, if you decided to add DLSS 3 and path tracing and all of these frame generated stuff, this will actually matter a lot and will increase the FPS by a huge bit. Alan Wake 2, which is a pretty demanding game and a pretty GPU intensive game, and it's not the best port. At 1440p ultra settings, you'll find yourself hovering between 45 to 60 frames per second. And the last game, which is Call of Duty Warzone, which is a CPU intensive game, but hey, if you decided to play this game at 1080p, you'll find yourself having around 144 to 150 frames per second, even though it's a great port now. So the CPU, we're looking at the AMD Ryzen 5 7600. Now there is a way to actually get this CPU for cheaper by getting it from AliExpress, being the Ryzen 7500F. Now I have made a lot of videos regarding this CPU and why this is the meta CPU for budget gaming PCs in general. Now I know that $1,300 isn't a budget PC by any means. This is the second fastest GPU that consumer can get, assuming that the 4090 isn't a consumer GPU anymore. So yeah, given it the way it is, this CPU will not bottleneck our GPU when it comes to 1440p gaming, 4K gaming, and when it cocomes to the competitive esports game, you are gonna get the experience of the best, actually, in my opinion, and you are having the upgrade path. As for the board, and this is something that I really like, that is actually for a good price right now, the Gigabyte B650M-K. Now I have a board comparable to that one, but from the previous gen AM4 platform, and this one goes for $100. It's got 4 RAM slots, it supports the next gen Ryzen CPUs, and these solid VRMs will be okay for the next gen CPUs if they are actually higher in terms of power draw. As for the RAM, we're looking at 32 gigabytes of DDR6, DDR5 5600 megas RAM. I'm not keeping up with numbers anymore. Yeah, 5600 megas seems to be a decent amount of frequency for Ryzen CPUs, even because Ryzen do benefit from high frequency RAM. And on top of that, 32 gigs is the decent amount of space to go for right now. I feel like 32 gigs is beginning to be the meta when it comes to gaming PCs, even though 16 gigs is still viable till today. The SSD, we're looking at a 1TB M.2 Gen 4 SSD. This one goes for around 70. It's got fast boot up times, it's got really good loading speeds, and the SSD prices are going so high in price, so the fact that we're getting that one for 60, used to go for 50, I feel like this is a great deal in my opinion. Now the GPU, you know what it is. This is the RTX 4070 Ti Super. This one goes for $800. And when it comes to the performance, the rasterization performance, the pure gaming one, it's not that far away from an RX 7900 XT, even though the 7900 XT right now goes for $100 less, and it's got more VRAM, being 4 gigs. But 4 gigs of VRAM isn't that significant in my eyes or in anybody's eyes, but maybe that $100 difference would make a lot to a lot of people. But you are getting the trade-off, in my opinion. You are getting the NVIDIA capabilities, you are getting a more superior ray tracing performance, even better than the RX 7900 XTX, which is AMD's highest end GPUs right now. And on top of all that, you're getting the Invent encoder, you are getting really good driver support from NVIDIA. AMD are good too, but NVIDIA is known for being the reliable GPU manufacturer to a lot of people. And to me too, you know, I'm using an NVIDIA RTX 3080 and I'm having the time of my life when it comes to anything I do, actually. So yeah, all in all, I feel like this comparison is, you know, kind of what's the usual when it used to be for AMD and NVIDIA. If you want the sheer performance, you want the best value, you want higher VRAM, go AMD. If you want the NVIDIA capabilities, and go NVIDIA. But right now I feel like the gap has been closed between NVIDIA and AMD. NVIDIA is kind of keeping ahead. Yeah, this is really how I see it. A 4070 Ti Super is worth it for $800 when you compare it to a 7900 XT, and this is how I see it. As for the case, you have two options. You can go with the Lee & Land-Cool 216. This is the case meta, or like, you know, one of the best cases when it comes to airflow. It can handle all the way up to a behemoth RTX 4090 24GB GPU. So yeah, when it comes to size, it will handle the biggest GPU you can flex on. and good airflow, good style in general, good design. Power supply, we're looking at an EVGA, I believe 700 watt 80 plus bronze, but you can go with 700 watt gold, you can go with 850 watts. All in all, this PC will not consume over like 450 to 500 watts, being the CPU pretty power efficient, and the GPU is not on the bleeding edge when it comes to power consumption, so you can get away with anything around 700 watts, but I'll leave all the options to you. So yeah, that's it. If you like the video, press that like button. If you want to see reviews of that, can subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.